Hello, my name is Marcos. I have owned RVs for 30 years and I used to own an RV rental company with over 10 units. So I'm quite familiar with motorhome roofs, and I have always been looking for a way to be able to do something good with a roof, something simple to apply that I don't need special equipment, something that I can do at home in a day, doesn't take me too long, something that lasts a long time. I don't have to go up in the roof and do it in every other year, and something that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. SealAll has achieved that. Now, before we start into what the kit has, let me show you the three types of roof. The first one is the rubber roof, or EPDM or TPO, pretty much similar materials. They last 10 to 12 years, but normally after 5 years you want to start taking care of them because they start to decay. Fiberglass roof are normally in higher end RVs. They last more than that, 30 to 40 years. But between 10 to 15 years, they start to decay and you start resealing everything because the edges start to leak. Last but not least, the most uncommon roofs of all is the aluminum roofs. They last forever, but unfortunately, they're very weak. So you can puncture them with a tree branch, with anything, and now you have a leak. Any of these can be sealed with SealAll. Now, the most important part to remember is that the idea is to be able to have something that will last longer than this product, so you don't have to go up in the roof. Let's say 30 years. If we can coat the roof with something that could last 30 years, that would be great. Now, the guys at SealAll have put a kit together that has pretty much everything you need. You have a pair of gloves, you have the roof shampoo, which is a biodegradable soap that will not damage the roof, a can opener, the paste sealant to be able to seal with the paste any damage, the actual 100% silicone coating. You have 2 gallons that will cover 22 feet long motorhome or RV. You have 2 rolls. You have a mill gauge that will let you measure how thick the application is, how thick the layer of silicone is. You shoot between 22 and 24. A plastic spatula to be able to put the paste sealant. Wipes, heavy duty wipes, you need to have those. And 2 brushes to be able to do all the cuttings and the areas in which you cannot get to with the rolls. Now, this is everything that comes with the kit, is everything that you need. If you're going to be working in your motorhome, I would also suggest that you also get along a couple of more items that you may already have in your hands. Something you would have probably because you have done before. Number 1, good or reliable blue painter's tape. So you can tape areas that you don't want to get the silicone on. Second, a special tarp that has tape on it. Basically is a piece of plastic 4 feet tall, 90 feet long, that has a piece of plastic on the top. So you can apply the top tape around the edge and you unfold the plastic down, and that protects the side of your motorhome as you're actually washing it and you're putting the silicone. Now, the most important thing actually is the washing, because when you wash it, you're going to have a lot of stuff coming off the roof as you're washing it down. And you will see it when we show you how we do the washing. You will see why you need it. But it's a good idea. These 2 things are primarily to make easy cleanup after you're done. It's not that you need it to apply the roof, but it makes it much easier to apply if you have these 2 items. Last but not least, good old acetone. Now be aware, most common roofs are the rubber roofs, EPDM and TPO. The acetone does not go well with those type of roofs. So the acetone is to clean some difficult areas, like for example over some sealant that is cracking and you want to clean it really nicely to be able to apply the paste sealant. some areas that are especially dirty and you cannot clean with the soap. It's not to apply generally to the entire roof. It's not to apply directly to the roof. You apply to a little piece of rag or to a paper towel and you can clean it that way, because the acetone will further damage your roof. Okay? But the most important part is that those three items are not required, but I advise. As a user, I advise. I have used these materials for the last 3 years, and I have tried pretty much every other material, all the ones that they manufacture for motorhomes. I've even tried truck bed liners, and I used all of these components and the truck bed liners on the roof of a couple of motorhomes, and they all work fine. The only issue is that none of them last as long as the 100% silicone. Be aware of the acetone. It will attack the rubber roof even with any other material that you use. Doesn't matter what you have in there. Be extremely careful with the acetone. Okay? Now, this is the entire kit. Comes with everything you need, and it actually does a great job for a 22-foot motorhome. You may need two of them. Like, for example, this is the motorhome we're going to be working with. It's 32 feet long, so I used two kits. Now, this is the front edge. You will see that the front edge is sealed with a tape, which is Eternabond tape, and I'm not advertising for them. It actually is a pretty good way to seal the edge, moving parts, connections. This is how bad the roof looks in this motorhome. This is a 2016, and you can see that not only is dirty, but you're starting to see that the white is starting to fade. The seals are starting to crack. All the dark areas that you see on the roof are actually the rubber section on the roof underneath. So, to begin, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that little tarp that has tape on one side and a 4-foot piece of plastic hanging off it. And as you see, this is not moving that fast. Believe me, it's not that fast. And when I say something easy to apply, I'm an overweight, 300 plus pounds, and I'm over 50 years old, and I was able to do this on my own in less than a day. So this is a view of the roof with the plastic siding applied, the tarp. See, these are the things that we're looking for. For example, the Eternabond tape, which is an excellent product. If you're going to apply it, it needs to be applied before you put the coating. And you need to see if there's any damage, like that hole. If there's any special things on the side of the motorhome, like this owner, for example, had a map of the states they visited. So on that one, I put an extra layer of the tarp on top of it, just in case, so nothing of the water gets through it. And then I put the tarp all around the motorhome to be sure that nothing of the water, the soap, or the silicone would get into the motorhome. See? This would take 20 minutes to be able to get it all done. Once you're done with that, you mix your roof shampoo and you can start cleaning. I'm going to show you a closer look on how I clean. I like to use a soft brush and brush it slowly. And this is, you see, this was already a clean roof, so it's not too bad. But the brush does a really good job. No, do not use anything aggressive, because the rubber roof will suffer a lot if you use something aggressive. A soft brush would actually do a great job, and use a lot of water to be able to wash off all the residue of the soap. Make sure that you use all the soap. In this case, you would need 2 kits, so you're probably going to need to use the 2 soaps. The soap does a great job cleaning, is biodegradable, and you want to make sure that it's a clean surface. The silicone will adhere no matter what, but you want to make sure that it's going to look good and it's going to sit the best possible way. Of course, I'm wearing fall protection. I recommend that you be extremely careful while on the roof of your motorhome, because any roof in a motorhome when it's wet becomes extremely slippery. Fall protection is recommended. This is a view of the roof once it's clean. As you see, you can see the dark spots already. And see, you can see all of those dark spots that are not white. That is the rubber coming through the white membrane on the top of the roof. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people ask, when do I need to do the roof? When do I need to recoat the roof? This is an example of a 14-year-old rubber roof. As you see, there is more dark spots than white spots. That means that all the white protective layer is gone. All the cracking in the white protective layer is exposing the black rubber that is actually the roof. That means that this roof is way past due for a touch-up, for a coating. Now, I normally like to coat the roofs when they're 5 or 6 years old, and this is the reason why. If you let the roof sit for 10 years, 12 years, which is what the warranty is, and this is how long they will last, you're gonna be okay, maybe, but if you don't, you will ruin the roof structure. So it's up to you. This is, for example, one of the vents of the tanks, and you can see all the cracks around the seal. Now, when you look at this, the first thing you need to do is to clean it up with soap. If that doesn't work, you can use some acetone, and then you get your can of paste sealant, and you start applying, coating all the sealant with the silicone sealant. Now, we normally recommend that you do this and then you let it dry, vent off for maybe a couple of hours before you apply the coating. But if there's also damage, if there's areas that need to be resealed, you do the same process and you let them air up, and actually you let the silicone completely vent off for a couple of hours before you do the top coat. What I normally do is I start on one end. When I get to the end, then I start applying the silicone coating on the other end. By the time I'm finished, there's a 2-hour difference. Normally, this would be, you will get to this point by the time you are in like maybe an hour and a half of work. That's how long it will take. As you see, I go through the entire circumference and I cover everything that needs to be sealed. Okay? The idea is not to leave any exposed areas that can be further damaged. And this sealant is already UV stable. That means that it's actually going to be stable through the exposure in the sun. It will take on cold weather, hot weather. Now, here I'm starting to apply the silicone coat. I'm doing first the coat with the brush. Now, this is how you use the mill gauge. You put it on the coat and you see which ones are the points that you touch. For example, in this case, this one was 28 mils. See, according to which ones you do touch, that's how thick the layer is. Normally, I recommend that you do between 22 to 24 mils. What I do is, I know that it will take me 3 gallons to do this motorhome because that's pretty much what they will cover. So I calculate that 2/3 is 1 gallon, is one tote, and the other one is half, and like that I put it down. It's a pretty heavy paste that you put down, a pretty healthy coat. Now, it brings you a roller. You can use any broomstick attached to it, and you can do it standing. In my case, my mother-in-law happened to be in town. She was not flying that night, so I took her broomstick. And this is an example, for example, of the use of some other sealing material. This is Eternabond tape. This used to be my motorhome before, and before I put this air conditioner, I actually put 3 layers of Eternabond tape, so it actually raised the air conditioner a little bit higher than the roof, creating a curve per se, a stance. So when I coated the roof, that didn't create a pond of water against the air conditioner. So consider that if you ever have to replace your air conditioner. Now, you can keep on coating and checking the thickness with a mill gauge. By coating, you just put the roller inside of a tank, inside of the tote, and you get the silicone and you brush it in. It needs to be a really healthy coat. By the time you're done, you should have gone through, in the case of a 30-foot motorhome, you should have gone through pretty much 3 gallons of silicone. As you see, it is pretty much like painting. The advantage is that it's painting, but you don't really need to make it look perfect. This is a view on how it looks once it's done. I already have pieces of leaves coming from the tree. I still have to finish touching up a few of the areas with a brush, but overall the result is really, really nice. If you see it, it's quite uniform, is bright, is white, which helps a lot with the temperature. And that same color will remain like that for a long time. This is a view from the back. While you're on the roof, you may want to control everything else. This is a drone view of the roof, and you can see how the roof looks impeccable. It's a beautiful finish, and that roof will look like that for years. That's the beauty of the silicone, that it will look like that for 30 years. Once again, feel free to call the guys. I'll see you all if you got any questions. Thank you very much for your time.